you for showing up because you made a choice today to do this class, to open up your computer or your phone, to log on to Zoom, and to be part of this yoga class about the third chakra. Take a moment to acknowledge that you made that choice, and I'm going to go so far as to say you made it because it's aligned with your beliefs about who you are or what's important to you or what you know about how yoga makes you feel. So take a moment to really acknowledge and celebrate. You are making a choice for you. And that's one of the ways that we exercise this chakra, making those choices. So next I invite you to put your hands on this area of the third chakra. So it's this big, big space. Line up your thumbs underneath your bottom ribs so that your thumbs touch your bottom ribs. And then just lay your hands between your navel and your ribs. You don't have to touch the navel area, but just roughly. And we're simply going to get some breath into this area as we try and identify with this area of the solar plexus. So drop your shoulders if you can, which I know is tricky when you've got your hands in your torso. Keep your neck gentle if you're able to. Sit with just a little bit of engagement of your core and a little bit of length through your spine. And close your eyes if you're comfortable and start to take a couple of breaths. Breathe any way that you need to. I'm starting by breathing in and out through my nose. And maybe you start to feel the body moving under your hands, right? As we breathe, the diaphragm moves, the ribs move, and because we have our hands on this area of the solar plexus, you should feel a little bit of movement of the hands as the breath moves in and out. Just pay attention to that. Follow along. Observe the movement of your body here. Continue to breathe, but feel free to take your hands away from your torso, place them somewhere more comfortable, or keep your hands there if you're enjoying that, the physical felt sense of the solar plexus. Continue to breathe into and out from the solar plexus. And I invite you to imagine a large space there in the area of the solar plexus, a spinning wheel of energy, as big as a beach ball, as yellow as the sun. Couple more breaths. This is the area of your personal power, your will, your ability to choose. So we'll continue to breathe in and out from that solar plexus area. We'll do that now by changing to our thumb, into our hand, inhaling into the solar plexus as you lift your arms. Exhaling from the solar plexus. And I'm breathing out through my mouth now. It's up to you if that feels right. Hands together. Each time we're aiming to breathe into and out from solar plexus. Hands behind or in front of the neck. Full extension as you breathe in. Slow hands to heart as you breathe out. A breath at the heart, as well as being aware of the solar plexus. Good. So we're going to start the class on our backs today to get into a little bit of the back movement and again, a little more awareness of this area. And then we'll gradually work our way to standing. So it's almost like doing the class in reverse in some ways. So let's move anything that you need to get out of the way and come to lying on your back. Take the support of the ground underneath you. Allow the earth to hold you up here. And notice as we do the little curve that you have in your low back, or if your back is not well today and needs extra support, you always have the option of really pressing your low back into the floor for more support. Excellent. Feel your toes spread out and your feet contacting the mat or the ground underneath you. And let's take another breath into the solar plexus. And let's take an ankle of one leg onto the thigh of the other. Good. And today we're going to move our arms up. So have your elbows come out at shoulder height and your hands and forearms at right angles. We sometimes call this cactus position with the arms. You've got one foot that's left on the ground. Lift that off now. Bring the legs a little closer towards you and spend 3 breaths. Put that leg down, change sides, leave the arms where they are. And again, knees towards you. A little bit of movement created here for the hips and the back. 3 big breaths, noticing the area of the solar plexus as you breathe in this position. Breathe out fully each time. Leave the arms where they are. Bring both knees into your chest now. And flop the knees over to one side.
If the arms need to open long, that's great. Long arms on the ground from shoulders on out through the hands. And 3 big breaths here. Again, paying attention to that area of the solar plexus. You can turn your head any direction that feels good for your neck, or leave it looking upward if that's better. Bring those knees back into your chest, flop them over to the other side. Again, you get to make a choice for positioning of your head. 3 big breaths, noticing your torso, the area of your solar plexus between your navel and your ribs. Bring those knees back to center. Put your feet back down again, and your arms can come alongside your body comfortably. So you can get your shoulder blades worked way down the body and keep lots of space between your ears and your shoulders. Again, spread your toes really wide, and then make sure you've got the 4 corners of each foot grounding you and the big toes grounding you. If you need more grip, this is the part where you might want to take the socks off. I've still got mine on. I'm going to see if it's going to work. Use your core now. So a little Kegel contraction, a little pulling of the low abdominals down towards your spine. Contract the core so that you can lift your tailbone up off the ground. And then 1 vertebra at a time starts to lift into bridge. Palms can be turned up or can be turned down to support you here. A little bit of arm strength helping you lift into bridge. Take a moment to feel the back of the neck is nice and long. You've got that gentle bit of pressure across the top of the upper back and shoulders. And then 1 vertebra at a time brings you down. Just get a little spine movement this way. You choose the pace and the use of your breath. So once you're back down, take any break that you need to, and when you're ready, you'll re-engage the core 1 vertebra at a time, and back up into your bridge. And we're just going back and forth that way gently this morning. And a little awareness of this torso and spine area of the body. Continuing to roll up into bridge and then roll down out of it 1 vertebra at a time. Also keeping a little bit of awareness of your knees. So we're hoping that the knees stay hip width apart. Knees kind of track over the toes here. Good, we're going to do it 1 more time. As you're ready, you'll contract your core, press your big toes into the ground. 1 vertebra at a time brings you up. Good. And 1 more time, coming down. Excellent. Hug your knees into your chest. Just gently rock side to side. Good. And if it feels good to stretch the body out long, that's an option here as well. It's still morning for most of us, unless you're in a really different time zone. So the body needs a little extra time to warm up. And see who's come to join us. So now take your 1 leg up and interlace your fingers around your hamstring on that 1 leg. Now we're going to see how it is to start to stretch that leg with the flexed foot up towards the ceiling. Holding there now for 5 breaths. And you may try pointing the toes towards the sky and then flexing the foot again to really start to get into the back of that leg. One more big breath here. Good. Bring that one in. Other leg up. Interlace the fingers around that hamstring. See where you're able to flex the foot. Aim the heel skyward. 5 big breaths in total here. And if it feels good to try pointing and then flexing again, let it go. Likely hearing a little bit of baby drinking water in the background. Excellent. Let's bring those legs, bring the one leg in, leave the other foot down on the mat. And we're going to see how it is. We haven't done all that many warm-ups yet, but see how it is to really reach your hands towards your ankle. Now that may or may not happen for you. It's still early in the day. If you're able to do it, you're seeing if you can pull your knee in towards your armpit and reach your hands onto the bottom of your foot with the foot parallel to the sky, to the ceiling. Take a couple of breaths there. And then a little bit of realigning. So make sure that you haven't dropped the other knee way open. See if it can still track over towards your toes. Notice the parts of your spine that come off the ground. And let's release that, put that leg down, the other one up. Same thing, so you're starting to pull the knee as close to the body as you can get it. And reach your arms, hands towards ankle. And maybe your hands just stay here on the hamstring. That's totally fine. You're still getting a stretch. It's only if you want more. You can reach the hands to ankle and then pull the knee in even more towards the armpit and reach hands onto the bottom of the foot. And breathe. Those of us with tight hamstrings really feel this one. Good, let's let that go. And turn yourself over onto your stomach. Good, now take a moment just to lay on the belly and give away your weight. Adjust the body so that you can really let go into this pose first. Now, we've done this one a lot, usually towards the end of the class. So again, we're just getting a little bit more warmed up here at the beginning. Hands are going to find right underneath your shoulders and are snugged up nice and close beside your chest. Elbows are tucked in, so the elbows are not down on the floor, but they're tucked in tight towards the body. Bring your wings in. Rest your chin, the weight of your head. Rest on the chin on the mat. And then Rock out your hips so that you're really loose through the core and through the low back. We are not using the low back for this pose. We are only using the strength of the arms. So with the strength of the arms, push your chin and chest up off the floor. Leave your back soft, your core soft. And then bring it back down again. Let's go up and down 6 times. And it doesn't matter how high you go. In fact, going a smaller movement will keep it more controlled. You'll have more strength that your arms are needed for if we keep this a small movement. Make sure you're breathing. And find your solar plexus, or opening up some space there between the ribs and the navel. Good. Touch your chin, touch your forehead. Rest your arms down and rest on each cheek for a breath. Rock your hips out. Make sure that we didn't ask anything of them. Now we're going to balance on our solar plexus. So we are going to use our core for this one. I invite you to again, take the weight of your head onto your chin. Start to lift your arms off the ground, and the hands are going to reach down towards your feet. So straight, long arms reaching down. Use the strength of your core. So push your pubic bone into the mat. Get strong through your low abdomen and your back so that you can lift both your legs off the ground. Keep reaching the arms down and start to lift the chin and chest higher into a cobra pose. So we are balanced on our solar plexus for 3 big breaths. See if you can come down really slowly. Lots of control here. Touch your chin, rest your arms, touch your forehead down, and again, rest on each cheek. Good. Push yourself to hands and knees. And then all the way back into pose of child. You can choose. Again, another choice. Arms either long above the head, rested on the mat, or resting head on hands, or resting hands by feet. And let's take 5 breaths here, in and out from the solar plexus, even though it's contracted here. Round yourself up. Grab a little sip of water, and then we'll come on to hands and knees. Coming to hands and knees. Hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. A little bit of cat-cow, again, warming up our spines. Follow the rhythm of your breathing. And again, just bring your attention to the area of the solar plexus. As we round and arch, just notice the lengthening that happens when you're arching and the contracting that happens in that area as you're rounding. Come to a flat back, and let's take the hips halfway to heels and off to one side, just to get into that sweet spot in the low back. Feels so good. Take a breath here. It's up to you to find where that is for your body. It's a little bit different for each of us. Usually bringing the hips halfway to heels and then off now to the other side is the way to get into it and explore where that is for you. Come back to hands and knees, neutral position. We're going to thread the needle, starting to pay attention to the middle back. So take one hand and thread it between the other hand and knee. And keep reaching, reaching, reaching with that hand until you're rested down on your other shoulder and the side of your head. So hips have stayed exactly above the knees. The rest of the body is starting to let go. So if you ended up with one elbow high, bring it on down. Just make both arms comfortable here. And now let's take a big breath into the middle back. And into the shoulder blade area. Breath into the upper back. And into the neck. Bring yourself back to center and we'll do the other side. Look around so you're still able to hear me. Take the other hand and thread the needle between other wrist and knee until the shoulder is on the ground, side of the head on the floor as well. Breathe into the middle back. Into the shoulder blades. Breathe into upper back. And neck. Good. Push yourself back to hands and knees. We're going to do a shoulder rotation here with extra focus on our solar plexus. The way to do shoulder rotation is to find the way that you can be really long on the ground. So your body's going to be fully stretched out. I'm going to make sure that you can still capture me in my camera. Let's try this. So long, long body. And a nice comfortable head. So you can rest your head on your bent arm, or rest your head on your straight arm, or even prop your head up if that works better for you. So the first thing is to get the head comfortable. Second task is to bend your top knee and lay it on the ground in front of you, and your knee is your anchor. So allow the knee to stay down on the floor so that we're keeping our backs nice and safe. Now, what you're going to need is to make a giant circle with your other arm. So just check if there's any furniture in your way that you need to readjust your position. And then start your hand on your top knee and drag it along the floor in front of you. You're going to roll your body, keeping your knee on the floor, roll your body so that you're rolling back a little bit, allowing your hand to keep going in that giant circle until it gets to your bum, then pause and go back. Good. We're going to do this 4 times. Nice and slowly, especially if you find an area of your shoulder that's tight, needs a little extra time to get some breath in there. If this is troublesome for your shoulder, do it with holding your shoulder. So your hands can be on your shoulder and make this a much smaller movement. That's always a good way to control any shoulder difficulty. So you should be on your 3rd time now. And I invite you to really start to focus now on the opening that happens in the solar plexus as we go around. And on your 4th time again, really pay attention to the area of the solar plexus, breathing into there. After 4 arm circles, we're going to turn over and do the other side. So if you need to readjust the space in your place so that you've got a little more room, I definitely need to readjust. And again, make your head comfortable on this side, either laying on your bent arm, straight arm, or propped arm. Again, it's your top knee that's going to bend, and rest your knee right down on the floor in front of you. Start your top hand at your top knee, drag it along the floor, big circle, keeping the knee down as your anchor. You're gonna roll back, allowing that arm to go as far as it can go. So it gets to your bum, and then pause and go back. And same thing, if this shoulder is bothering you, just hold the shoulder. Make this a smaller movement as you go around. Lots of breath in and out from the solar plexus. Now, those folks with really flexible bodies might be able to keep their fingers on the floor throughout this pose, but most of us can keep our fingers on the floor during the front bit, and then as soon as the arm goes around back, we have to lift those fingers off the floor, especially if we're keeping the knee down as our anchor. Excellent. Once that's complete in your 4 times, push yourself back to sitting. Readjust your space again. And we're going to do some of our twists. We often do these at the end of class, but today we're going to get into them in the middle. So sitting with your legs out in front of you, cross the ankle of one leg above the knee of the other. Sit nice and tall. Find your hip creases, your hip bones, and fold forward from the hip crease, keeping your back nice and straight. And if you're able to put a little bit of weight on the bent knee with your elbow, go ahead there now. Let's just take a breath. Noticing the hips, the knees, the legs, the back. And then try a couple of heel presses. So with that long leg out in front of you, see if you can flex the foot, bringing the heel right up off the ground. And breathing, of course. And let's bring the leg all the way across. So you have a choice again here. Foot can be crossed over onto the other side of the long leg, or it can stay on the close side, whatever works better for your body. Then we're going to give that knee in front of you a big hug. 2-armed hug for the knee. Check in with your sitting bones. Rock back and forth a little bit. And notice if both sit bones are able to anchor you to the floor today. Drop your shoulders down. Take ease with your neck.
And a big breath in and out here. And you might feel the area of the solar plexus against your thigh because you've got good contact there between thigh and torso. Second breath. You have the option to bring the long leg in beside you, bending that knee, bringing the heel close to the hip. That doesn't work for all bodies. So only if both your sitting bones are able to stay down should you give that a try. If you end up in one sit bone really high, then you're better off to leave the leg out for better balance. Either way is fine. Now take the same hand as your knee that is up. So for me, I've got my right knee up. Therefore, my right hand is now reaching tall and bringing my right hand down onto my right foot. We're engaging in a twist here. So I'm going to breathe in and lengthen my body and my spine nice and tall. And as I breathe out, I'm going to take my free hand and reach it all the way around the body until it grabs my shirt or my pants. Anything to anchor that other hand as you allow a gentle twist to happen. Focusing on the area of the middle back and the solar plexus. Let's hold a couple of breaths here. Bring both hands now in front of you, not directly in front, but just wherever you're able to place them with your knee here, because your knee is keeping you from being totally centered. Get your hands onto the floor and start to walk them forward, allowing lengthening of the spine from this position. Move your heels out of the way, get your sit bones close to the ground. Your body will tell you how far to go, and take a breath. Walk those hands back towards yourself. Take a short counter twist, the opposite direction, and then shake those legs out. Cross the other one over. Again, sit tall, find your hip creases, fold forward from your hip crease. Put a little weight on your elbow, on your knee, using your elbow. And try a heel press here with the long leg in front of you. Just like we did last time. Now it's the other leg. It's crossing over. Bring the knee up close to the body. Either the leg is on the other side. The foot is on the other side of the long leg, or the foot is on the same side. Your choice. Here we give a big hug with the knee, pulling the thigh towards the torso, dropping the shoulders down, and taking a big breath. Another breath, noticing the solar plexus. Is there any contact between thigh and torso? Decide if you're bringing the long leg in on this side or not. Both are fine. Sitting bones are grounding you. I've got my left leg up now, my left knee high. So I've got my left arm reaching into the sky. Bring that left hand onto the inside of the left foot. Take my free hand, wrap it around my body until it comes around to grab pants, shirt, anything as an anchor. Sit tall to breathe in. And gentle twist as you breathe out. I'm going to hold a couple of breaths here. Take the next breath in and out of the solar plexus. Then bring both hands around to the front of you onto the floor and walk the hands forward, lengthening your spine. If you need to scoot your heels out of the way, go ahead. And breathe here. Notice where this is stretching your body. Walk those hands back towards you. Take a short counter twist the opposite direction. And shake out your legs. Excellent. We're going to do a core strengthener, followed by a solar plexus focused shavasana, and then a couple of energizing poses to end the class. Our core strengthener is to balance ourselves on our tailbones. So we're going to start in the seated position, reaching your hands in between your calves and your hamstrings, finding a little bit of balance here on your tailbone. Seeing if you can lift your heels off the ground. If this is a challenge and you prefer to do just one leg today, that's all good. You are still getting lots of core activity, one leg or two. Keep your shoulders low, keep your neck easy. And now you get to play with it. You get to make mistakes and get it wrong and roll in and out of it, whatever you need to do. So I'm going to start by starting to lengthen one leg. That's going to shift my balance point on my tailbone. I'll bring that one in, see if I can lengthen the other leg. Lots of you have done boat before or half boat before. And so play around whatever you like to do here with this pose. I always like to give the option of having the calves parallel to the floor, so the knees bent, or alternately, the legs straight. And that's a challenge for me. Fine to take breaks in between. We're asking a lot of the body here. Find one position you can do for one more breath. Excellent. Let's release the hips just with one pose here. Bring the legs in front of you, butterfly knees, so the knees are open. And we're just going to slump forward. Just the amount that your body wants you to go. Nice rounded spine. Couple of breaths. Come back to center and decide if you'd like to do your shavasana lying down or sitting in a meditative position. Feel free to grab a little sip of water. Take a moment to add any layers that you'd like to have so that your temperature is right for your environment. If you're lying down, make sure that your shoulders are low down your body. And the back of your neck feels long. Same for sitting, especially lengthening our spines now. Chin tucked in a little bit. Next, I invite you for our Shavasana today to place your hands on the area of the solar plexus. So as we did earlier, thumbs connected to the bottom rib, hands laying over top of this torso area between your navel and your rib cage. If that doesn't feel comfortable for you today, make a different choice with your hands. It is your practice. And start to, again, as we did earlier, breathe into and out from the area of the solar plexus. Notice if there is any tension that you're aware of in your body. And is there anything you can do to release it? Do that now. Continue breathing. I invite you to imagine a golden shield covering the area of your solar plexus. Imagine the color. Imagine the material the shield is made from. For you, does it come across as shiny or more matted? How much space does your golden shield cover? Imagine that this shield is protecting your right to choose, your ability to make choices in every moment of your day. As you breathe, imagine that you have the confidence to to know that the choices you make are the right ones for you, for those around you, and for the world we live in. Notice the strength of your shield, the golden shield. At the same time, notice that the shield is not protecting your heart space, the area above, the location of your heart and your lungs. Notice that your heart is able to be free, open, unprotected. And that's okay, because your shield is doing such a good job of ensuring that your beliefs are the right ones for you. Take a couple of breaths, noticing the softness, openness around the heart, and the protectiveness of the golden shield below. And if you like, let your arms release down beside you, wherever they're comfortable. I invite you to let go of the visualization. And start to take 3 very easy breaths. Then start to move through your fingers, through your toes. Stretch out any way that feels good to you. If you're lying down, find your way to sitting. In a moment, we're going to transition to standing, but before we do, I invite you to have a nice slow neck roll, starting with an ear lift, rolling the head around the front, using lots of breath. Eventually, you'll find yourself at the other side of your neck roll, and your choice, whether to go around the back in a full circle or to pause here and just return the way you came, keeping the neck at the front. Slowly roll back to center And transition to standing for a moment, please. We are going to do one grippy pose. So if you do still have socks, this is a let them go time. Shake out those legs. Open rounded through the class today. And come into warrior pose. So take one foot and aim it towards the short end of your mat. Draw an imaginary line from the heel of that foot to the instep of the other foot, and have the other foot at a 45-degree angle. And bend the knee of the first foot, the one that's pointed at the short end of the mat. That's the knee that's bending. Get some opening here through the inner thighs. We're not going to worry at all about form for this warrior. Put your legs where you want them to be. Put your hips where you'd like them to be. Add the arms to the degree you want to. Drop your shoulders if you're able. Look past your fingers. And for our 3 breaths, I invite you to really focus on this area of the solar plexus. It's our warrior area. Strong torso. 3 big breaths. Take the hand that's over the bent knee up into the sky. Take the other hand down onto the back of the leg, slide it down the hamstring. Gaze up past your fingers. Again, opening up your solar plexus for 3 big breaths. Come back to center. Change your feet. Point them the other way for the other side. Bend the other knee. Find your best stance. Checking with your hips and your inner thighs. Open up those arms. Look past your fingers. 3 big breaths into the solar plexus. Breathe out fully each time. The hand that's over the bent knee raises up skyward. The other hand slides down the back of your leg. Look past your top fingers and 3 big breaths. Bring yourself back to center. You can heel toe your feet so that they come to parallel. Excellent. Take them out if you need to. Plant your feet. Root yourself here, feeling the 4 corners of each foot as you stand tall in mountain pose. Big breath. Feeling your feet, feeling the crown of your head simultaneously. Take your thumb into your hand. Inhale and raise your arms up. Leave your shoulders low. Breathe out forcefully. Into your solar plexus. Breathe out forcefully again. Hands together. And bring those hands down behind your neck. 2 big breaths. Forceful out today. Knees gentle. Full extension as you breathe into solar plexus. Open your arms out towards your sides as you breathe out. Bring the hands together again, all the way up to the heart. And last breath here to the heart. Namaste.